So thank you for tuning in to another episode of A Business Minute. I'm your host, Sirr, and today I have a special guest, a resume writer, Miss Janine Wiggins of Resumes by Neen. How are you doing today, ma'am?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm doing well.
All right. So, Miss Wiggins, if you could, for those of the people who don't know what it is that you do, could you just give kind of like a brief history of what it is that Resumes by Neen is about?
Yes. So my name is Janine Wiggins. I am the owner of Resumes by Neen. Resumes by Neen specializes in resume writing as far as civilian resumes, which are things like a nurse or a doctor, a teacher, customer service representative. And we also do federal resumes, which are jobs in the federal system, things that you would have to apply to usajobs.gov for. Those are specialized resumes. We also specialize in interview styling and interview coaching. We do resume workshops for students and adults. We specialize in cover letters and reference pages, as well as career coaching.
Okay. And I think that's definitely an outlet needed in our community because not a lot of people know the differences between those outlets you just named. So kudos on taking that initiative. So that brings me to one of my first questions. How long have you been active as a resume writer and with Resumes by Neen?
I have been active as a resume writer for the last 5 years and a heavy social media presence the last 2 years.
Okay. All right. That's plenty of experience under your belt, I'm sure. All right. So next, if I may ask, going back to when you probably first started doing this, what inspired you to start assisting as far as resume writing, and also what inspired you to start specifically Resumes by Neen?
So I believe that helping people, especially with their career hunt and job search, can really expand into helping their families and bettering the community. So I started writing resumes to help people just get to the next level in their career and what they want to do next, and to help them know that they don't have to settle for whatever position they're in right now.
That's a beautiful answer. I appreciate that. Opening doors and thinking beyond the box is important for growth. Okay, so my next question, as far as with you, coming along this path of doing this for the last 5 years, were there any obstacles that you encountered along the way of getting to Resumes by Neen?
Yeah, of course, with any business owner, sometimes we second guess ourselves. And at first, when I started my business, I was charging based on what I thought people could afford. But then I had some coaching and some mentorship, and I realized that I was my own obstacle, that I need to charge for the value and my time and my skills that I've learned and put into my own business. So for me, I was my biggest obstacle in my own business.
Ooh, okay. And I think that can be a hindrance for ourselves when we limit ourselves. We don't really truly reach our full potential. So going into more of a personal aspect for you, Miss Wiggins, how do you manage to balance doing what you do as far as your work and your personal life?
Oh, balance is very important because I feel like if you take on too many responsibilities, you will never master your true craft. So I do work a full-time job, 8 to 5 through the week. So in the weekdays, sometimes I might be slow responding back to messages, but I try to save at least an hour or two in the evening times for Resumes by Neen, and then some hours on the weekends. Sundays, I do have set aside for family days and times with my husband, and also for church. I'm heavily involved in my church. And then I try not to respond to a lot of questions on Sundays, just to give home time the attention that it needs.
I respect that because you do have to set that time aside because you obviously have more than one hat that you wear, with being a wife, being, in your church home. You have to find that balance. So I appreciate you sharing that and being candid about setting time aside because time management is definitely important to all facets of success, I found. So my next question is a little bit, I wouldn't call it a down question, but it's just a realistic question. At any point, did you feel that you wouldn't be successful? And if so, who or what changed your mind?
I think we all have a tad bit of self-doubt. Sometimes we question ourselves. So yes, at first I was like, who is going to pay me to write their resume? And then I had to think about it and realize that I am equipped to do this, and I am capable. And of course, my husband is a big time, like not a cheerleader, but he motivates me a lot
Right.
with all the stuff that I have to do. And then I do have a good circle of business friends that motivate me and say, you can do it, girl. You got this. And so I just stay focused. And I try not to let any obstacles make me quit anything, because you don't fail until you absolutely just quit. So I'm definitely not going to quit.
Oh, okay. That was powerful. I love the fact that you touched on that you have a circle of like-minded people that you convey with and share your thoughts with. I think that's important, because you may be able to get a response that you may not have found within just at that moment, and they may be able to provide you that little push to keep moving, because we all have those days, like you said, where we feel like we can't do it. And it's important to have those supporters like your husband who are constantly behind you, reminding you of what you're capable of. So that is a blessing within itself. All right. So,
Yes, it is.
all right. So, Miss Janine, this next question is what I call the long-term question. And this has to do with you as far as with resume writer or with Resumes by Neen. Where would you like to see yourself in the career, in resume writing and with Resumes by Neen in 1 year, 3 years, then in 10 years?
And I'll start with the 10 years.
Okay.
In 10 years, I would definitely love to be working for myself and having enough classes and enough clientele to fully support myself, as far as this being my number one job.
Mm-hmm.
In 3 years, I would like to be visiting different universities and hosting resume workshops in different high schools. And then in 1 year, I would like to be memorable. Like when you think of a resume service, or when anybody thinks of a resume service, I automatically pop up in your head. Kind of like when somebody says my pleasure, they automatically think of Chick-fil-A. So
Sure.
I want my service to be memorable, to where if someone says, oh, I'm thinking about switching careers, they automatically think you need a resume. Resumes by Neen.
I wish you the best in those. My final question, Ms. Neen, and I appreciate you taking time out your day to do this interview. The hardest thing that someone can do is step out on their own with an idea. What words of encouragement would you have for a person who has an idea, but they're afraid to act on it?
I would say don't limit yourself. And you will never know how something's going to turn out unless you try it. So you have to be willing to be vulnerable, and you also have to be willing to get around people who will motivate you. And you have to also encourage yourself sometimes, because sometimes you're going to go through things that nobody will know about business-wise, and you'll just have to encourage yourself. So I say to do that, you'll have to have a strong faith in God and just know that you can do all things.
Oh, through him. I heard that. All right. Well, Miss Janine, if anyone wanted to get in contact with you, whether it be about a resume or a business venture, or maybe just want to talk to you one-on-one about business in general, where could they reach you?
So the fastest way to reach me is through email. My email address is resumesbyneen@gmail.com. That's resumesbyneen@gmail.com. You can also find me on Instagram @Resumes by Neen, and on Facebook, Resumes by Neen.
All right. Well, again, Ms. Wiggins, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I really appreciate you taking time out your day to share your story with us. And again, I look forward to seeing your name synonymous with resumes here in our area, ma'am.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
No problem.